Hey, patrol members, I'm back. Finally, I'm back. Am I back for good? God, I hope so. So, something we haven't had in a while is a whiskey review and a cigar. So, a whiskey I've never had before, Jameson. You can see it right there. Jameson whiskey. I saw this little bottle, and I thought, why not spend less money for something I might not like? And if I do like it, I can always get the bigger bottle. Bigger bottle. What did I say? I don't know. I'm not going to redo it. Anyway, it's 80 proof, triple distilled. They were established in 1780. A smooth Irish whiskey made the John Jameson way since 1780. Product of Ireland. So let's get crack-a-lackin' here, okay? It's been chilly in the refrigerator. Oh, that is a nice smell. That is a really nice, almost sugary smell. Now I'm pouring it over cracked ice in my U.S. Army Officer's Mess glass. That's quite a dollop. We're going to let that sit there, and I'm going to try to keep the chill on it by putting in this beer cozy. And we have a 1935 Cooper tire ashtray. That tire's a little old and cracked. And we have a Carrington Dominican Republic Churchill cigar. Carrington, Dominican Republic. And of course, the best thing that could possibly go with a cigar, grape Kool-Aid. So the knife I'm using tonight, I just got about a week ago. It's a Schrade knife. It's new. I cut pancakes with it, so I have to clean it up a bit. It is very, very sharp. So I'm going to carefully trim the back off this cigar, which is doing quite nicely. Look at that. Look at there, that is very good. Now, on with the Jameson. It is very good. It is very flavorful. Now, have I had better? I'm going to say yes. Have I had worse? Oh, yeah. I've had worse. Way worse. But that is not bad. I would say that's good whiskey. I know I'm going to make some people upset. Okay, look. Everybody's different. We all have our favorites. We all have our non-favorites. You know what? There's some people who just think ranch is the be-all, end-all. And I can't stand ranch. Certain things I cannot really eat unless it was life or death. Tomatoes, because I actually have a problem with the acid in tomatoes. Strawberries, not a big fan of strawberries. Peaches, not a big fan of peaches. Now the peaches story. When I was a little kid, I had a problem going, if you catch my drift. The doctor told my mother and grandmother I needed to eat more fruit. Now back in the late 50s, money was a little tight. And my grandmother, she had a peach tree. And there were an awful lot of peaches on that tree. So I go to the market and buy fruit. I just pick it off the tree. And every morning, the first thing I had to do was eat a peach. Well, after about day 10, I get pretty tired of peaches. Really. And let's put it this way. Until my grandmother and mother felt that I was quote unquote a regular, I had to eat peaches. And that was a long summer. Oh yeah. We had a lot of peaches that year. But I digress. So tomatoes, peaches, strawberries, and ranch dressing. Oh my God. Ranch pizza? No. Now look, I'm not saying that any of those things are bad. I'm just saying they're not for me. Now, I'd be hard pressed to name something I haven't eaten. Maybe in some remote parts of Asia or Africa, there's some kind of cuisine I've never had. I've had food from China, Japan, India, the Philippines, the Deep South, you know, red beans and rice, collard greens, okra, chitlins, boiled peanuts, you know, ballots, fugu, sushi, and I've eaten some Filipino food, which I'm not even going to talk about here because I'll get hate mail. And you know what? That particular one, that was mighty good. So, that try it, you like it, that doesn't mean jack. I probably tried it. And if I liked it, I liked it, and if I didn't, I didn't. You know what I had for the first time today, and I really enjoyed them? Shrimp tacos. They're pretty good. With a kind of a cilantro sauce, which is excellent. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to this thing, the Churchill Match Cigar. Uh-oh. Cheap thing. Mm. This was my first cigar since June 7th. I was really laid low with RSV and stuff like that. This is wonderful. Oh my gosh. Nice and mild. Nice and mild. Soft. Draws really well. A Carrington, Connecticut leaf, Churchill cigar. Pretty good. Jameson. Pretty good. So I went with my wife and I went up with friends to Shaver Lake. We've been there a few times, and it's very beautiful up there. They had a really wicked fire go through there a while back, and a lot of acreage was destroyed, and that really is a shame to see that type of thing. Some people lost their structures, which is sad, but the majority of the town and the structures in that area were preserved, fortunately. Pardon me. Now, if you haven't been up there, it's really nice. The town is nice. There's a lot of little shops and not like a bunch of antique shops or gift shops. There's a few. But there's the hamburger hut. The hamburgers are really good. A little pricey, but you're up in the middle of nowhere. So, you know, stuff costs more. They have a really good hardware store. There's several other restaurants which my wife and I are going to try. My wife and I like to eat out, and our friends like to eat in. So when my wife and I go on vacation, we like to try a lot of different places. We may eat out every day while we're traveling. But we plan to do that because we want to eat at different places, try different foods, and you know. So the next time we go to Shaver Lake, my wife and I want to try 2 or 3 different places to see what it's like. There's the lake, which is beautiful. The water's really high right now. We rented a pontoon boat, hold 6 people. We went out for the day. We had a really good time. The weather was magnificent. I don't think it got to be 75 degrees. I'll have the temperature up here in Kelvin for you Imperial haters. At night, it got into the 50s. Once again, look up here for you Imperial deniers. It's up here. And we had a great time. We had a great time. My friends, they have a small cabin up there. And it's very rustic. The cabin was built 68 years ago. So I'm older than the cabin. Go figure. Once again, like I said, the weather was beautiful. We had a really, really good time. Really good time. Traffic sucked on the way back, but hey. And that was the middle of the week. I can't imagine what it was like, what it'll be like tonight or tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to give you some news about my Gladiator. Well, here it is. I was driving around, looked down, check engine lights on. Now, I've had this steering stabilizing control light. It says to service it. That's come on twice now, and the dealer has handled it both times. Salute por tutte. But the check engine light, took it to a friend's house. My friend we went up to the lake with, he checked it with his OBD reader, and according to the reader, it wasn't throwing a code. So I came home, checked it with mine, no code. I took it to the dealer. They threw their OBD reader in it, no code. Yet the check engine light's on. So I left him with it. That was last Saturday. Today is Friday. They called me today. Well, they called me yesterday. No, what's today? They called me Monday and told me they had ordered a set of fuel injectors for it. It's a diesel. They said they would be here Tuesday. And they would get to it Wednesday. Now, it takes more than a couple of minutes to put fuel injectors in a vehicle. So, I gave them all day Thursday. I called them this afternoon, left a message. They got right back to me. They still don't have the fuel injectors. They won't be here till next Tuesday. On top of that, now they think the fuel pump is bad. Now there's a recall on the Jeep Gladiators with the diesel engine for the fuel pumps. Okay? And I mentioned that to him, and he looks it up and he says, oh yeah, I see that. Okay. It would be under warranty anyway, but the point is, let's get on that. So he told me they had already ordered a fuel pump, and that'll be here Wednesday with the injectors. Well, apparently, from other people who own them, who I've contacted, the fuel pump starts to grenade itself, and debris gets into the system, and it jacks everything up. Now, I'm trying to figure out how this fuel pump debris gets past the filters. But a very good friend of mine, she has a Volkswagen like ours. It's a couple of years older. Her fuel pump at her diesel Volkswagen did the exact same thing, and they had to replace the fuel pump, the filters, the injector pump, and the injectors. So somehow, when those things blow, they take everything downstream. Now I'm to the conclusion that it was just starting to have a problem, and that light came on, and that's what saved my bacon. But once again, we'll see. I was supposed to go on a cleanup tomorrow with my club, but no Jeep, no truck. And my other Jeep, which runs, is a little hard to get in and out of. So I don't want to take it on that. Plus, it's got an iffy left rear axle bearing, which I need to replace. Well, actually, I got a line and a whole new axle and bearing, so I don't necessarily, I'm not going to worry about that. But that's in the pipe. And this is really the first drink I've had since June 7th. Whew. Now today's one of the first days where it's been really nice enough to be outside in the evening. They hot August nights for a reason, right? So, but yeah, my voice is almost back to normal, and you can hear the wind chimes in the background. There's a slight breeze. It's probably, let's look at this thing here. %65% humidity and 76 degrees. That's not too terrible. That's not terrible at all. Haven't done anything with the 58 Packard because it's just been too darn hot to work on it out here. So we're going to have to put Packard videos off until I'm thinking sometime in the we'll see how the weather is in September, but we're probably looking at October. I have a lot of parts for it. I got parts to rebuild some of the steering. I'm going to grease the wheel bearings. I've already put a auxiliary fuel pump in it. I might do a cold start on it here coming up because I haven't started it since that first week of June. And now we're in coming up the third week of August, and that's a while. So I'll throw a charge on the battery and see how that does. If anybody out there is in the market for a 1952 Packard 200, I'm selling it. It's just too much for me to do right now. I got too many projects. So here's what you're getting for your $3,000. The car's pretty tired. The body, the exterior of the body is really straight. The floors are blown out of it. But I have a complete set of new floors. So you're getting those. The radiator I had rebuilt, $557. The value of the radiator in scrap is worth more than that. But it's not scrap. I had the Easomatic power brake unit rebuilt, $400. I have 2 brand new wheel cylinders for the front. I bought them not even knowing if I was going to need them. But there you have it. And I replaced the water pump, a new old stock water pump. And the hoses, the upper and lower, and the thermostat. And I had to buy a distributor for it. And the engine runs, and it runs really good. It's really strong. Here's the downside. I don't know if the transmission engages. I don't. It was full of fluid, and the odds are it's probably good, because when the vehicle was parked, according to the guy I got it from, they parked it because the owner's husband passed away and she didn't drive. And it just sat there in Banning out in the desert from like 1958 till 2019. So that's why the interior is really tired. The windows are all up and down, but the door latch on the driver's side has a broken spring. I think you can fix it if you take the door latch out. I fixed the trunk so it would open and close. I got all the windows rolling up and down. It does have some cracked glass, but it's side glass, not the back window, not the front window, but flat glass. All right? All the interior knobs are there. There's no knobs missing off the radio. It's even got the lighter and the ashtray. Nothing's missing out of the inside. The steering wheel's in pretty good shape. The pedals are in good shape. The seats are beat up because it had rodents in it, but it doesn't smell like rodents. I have a few spare parts in the back. So, top tip, as they say on, used to say on Top Gear. Actually, Ed Shiner likes to say top tip. Top tip. When you have an old car, a very old car that's been sitting for a very long time, and it has an automatic transmission, make sure that there's fluid in the transmission before you crank on it or start it. You don't want to tear up any seals because it's dry. That's exactly what I did. The transmission oil that this transmission takes, the modern equivalent, is B&M Trick Shift or Quick Shift. I bought a gallon of it and made sure the transmission was topped off before I even thought about starting it. Also, another thing you don't want to do is get in there and start pumping that brake pedal. Holy crap! Lift off the master cylinder, look down in there and make sure there's fluid before you start hammering on that thing. And that's what I did with this one. But the problem was the master cylinder was shot. But when I took it apart, the power brake booster looked like the day it came out of the factory. But the master was so bad, I couldn't rebuild it. I had to send it out. Now here's the problem with the Easymatic. The power brake unit on a relatively modern car, and let's say you got a 1969 Wagoneer. The power brake unit consists of like 5 parts. And I'm not counting the master cylinder. The Easymatic has like 45 parts in it. I've never seen anything so complicated in my life that didn't belong in an airplane. But hey. But it's completely rebuilt, like brand new. I have it in the box in the house. I have a complete tune-up kit for the car. That was another 50 bucks. Okay? I had to buy 2 of them because the distributor I bought had old kit in it, so I had to get a tune-up kit for that. Pardon my grammar. It's the Jameson talking. And now it has an original set of Sears white walls on it from the 1956 Christmas catalog. One of them is really tired. You're not using it. Well, the tire holds air, but let's put it this way. 3 of the 4 tires you could drive on. The 4th tire is kind of cracked. It's not flat, but it's cracked. I got a set of hubcaps and trim rings for the wheels. $600. Now I paid $2,000 for the car. $550 for the radiator. $400 for the Easymatic. $110 for the distributor. $55 for the water pump. $10 for the thermostat. Another $40 for the upper and lower hoses. $600 for the hubcaps and trim rings. Original trim rings and hubcaps for that car. Not some oddball thing. They're for that car. Okay? It's only missing 1 trim piece. And that's on the left front fender. I can't remember what the floors were. But you're getting... So if I am going to get what I paid for the car... Sorry, but the camera stopped recording. If I was to get what I put into the car... You're over $3,000. So I'm going to ask like $3,500 for the car. You're going to have to come get it. Just send me a message at radiumleague@gmail.com. Serious offers only. Now it does have a broken right rear tail light. The lens is broken, part of it's there. But if you know somebody who's into 3D printing, you can take the good one, scan it, print it, and then put it in over there. And it'll come with a good 6-volt and 8-volt battery, which is another couple of $100 easy. But I really need to move it out of my yard to make more room. I have my 1952 M38 A1 Jeep to work on, and I need to work on that Packard. So, Skull. So back to the point at hand. Jameson, recommend it. Pick some up, really good. Carrington, Connecticut Leaf, Churchill's, really good cigars. Oh my God, it went out. That's because I've been too busy flapping my gums. Hang on, let me clean up this mess. That's why you need a good cigar cutter, because if your cigar goes out, just trim it back to good tobacco and relight it and you're fine. You're fine. Don't let it sit too long. It'll get a stale taste. Cigar etiquette. Don't sniff the cigar if someone gives you a good cigar. Don't hold it up to your ear and roll it like that. Please don't do that. Don't lick it. Don't. That's bad etiquette. Don't go. If someone's giving you a good cigar, it's going to be a good cigar, okay? If you go to a cigar club, you go to somebody's house, somebody's backyard, and they're going to hand you a fine cigar, treat it like a fine cigar. And this, not necessarily a fine cigar, but it's a good cigar. L'chaim. That was good. That was very good. Soul Patrol members, a couple of months we're going to be back out in the desert. I'm going to do some solo trips. What do we got coming up? I got a trip up to Bishop coming up. I want to go to King of the Hammers, never been. I'm going to the Off-Road Record Games again next year, if they have it. In September, at the LA County Fairgrounds coming up, is the Off-Road Expo. I'm going there. Hopefully I'll see Holly. If I do, hopefully she'll say that I can do a little video with her. And depending on how busy she is, I'm not going to bug her if she's busy. And just have her wave at you and say hi. I've got the Big Sandy shoot coming up here in October. And my friend John is flying all the way from Germany to New Mexico, where he's going to rent a motorhome. And he's going to meet us there. Now, John, I met a number of years ago at the Big Sandy when he was stationed at an Air Force base in New Mexico, because until recently he was in the German Luftwaffe and he was a jet engine specialist. And so you'll get to see him. And what else is coming up? Well, we're going to have all kinds of desert trips coming up this fall and winter. And I'm going to try to have another Tales and Mysteries of the Mojave Patrol soon. I don't know what it's going to be. I have to come up with something. I haven't done one in a long time. So please look forward to those. I'm going to try to do better. I have a better camera here. I'm going to try to use it as much as possible. I'll have even better cameras for filming out in the desert. I'm going to look into a 360-degree camera. My friend Kurt has one. It was a little pricey, but I think it's a reasonable pricey. Anyway, I'm pretty much over the RSV. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Up here somewhere I'll say subscribe, and it'll like click the little bell. Please leave a like if you want. Please leave a comment if you wish. You know what's funny? You can have 50, 60 people. Now, to me, 50, 60 views is a lot. I do have one video on my channel with 41,000 plus views. I don't know why. It kind of went viral. But you know what? It doesn't hurt you to click a like. Just click it. Even click don't like. At least I know you don't like it. You know. I know some people just skip through videos. Just Okay, I understand that. But if you watch, like, if you've gotten this far, click like. Anyway, that's all for now. We'll talk to you later. Remember, Packard, the world's finest motor car. Ask the man who owns one. And Dumont. You're never going to get better electronic equipment than Dumont. Later, mater. Cut!
Yes, look to Packard for the easiest handling car ever built. America's new choice in the fine car field.